Part 1. Data Heist. Are truckers paying to be exploited? Time to Take Back Control series. Do you ever feel like no matter how many miles you put down or how much time you spend on the road, you're still barely making it? Is someone somewhere always getting the better end of the deal? I used to think it was just how this industry works. Low rates, tight schedules, the brokers always holding the cards. But then, one night, parked at some half-lit truck stop in Missouri, it hit me. Hard. I'm paying to be screwed. It wasn't about bad roads or brokers undercutting me this time. It wasn't even about the endless regulations or rising costs. It was my data, my information. The details of every mile I've driven, every load I've hauled, was being used against me. And here's the kicker. I was footing the bill for it. I didn't see it at first, and most of us don't. We're too busy chasing miles, trying to keep the wheels turning. But when I finally started digging, I realized this wasn't just my problem. It's every trucker's problem. And it's time we wake up to what's going on. You know that ELD you've got plugged in? Or the GPS tracker you're running? Have you ever wondered where all that data goes? I hadn't. Not really. I figured it was just for compliance, to keep the DOT off my back and make life easier with dispatch. Data doesn't just sit there. It doesn't belong to you. It gets sold. Brokers, tech companies, and even third-party vendors are all buying and selling your data like it's gold. And you're the one paying to make it happen. Think about it. Every time you pick up a load, your system logs the weight, the route, and the delivery window. Every time you're idling, fueling, or sitting on a dock for hours, that's tracked too. They know where you are, how long you've been there, and how desperate you are to get moving again. That's the information brokers are using to push rates lower. They know you need the load and have the data to prove it. They're boxing you in and you don't see it happening. I'll be honest, when I first started putting the pieces together, I felt like an idiot. I'd been in this game long enough to think I knew the score, but the truth is, I was blind to how deep the trap went. They make it feel like you've got no choice. The ELDs, the telematics, and the GPS trackers aren't optional. You can't run without them. And I get it. Some of these tools make life easier. But let me ask you this. How much of what you're paying for is helping you? That fancy telematics system, it's collecting engine data and diagnostics, sure, but it's also selling that data to third-party vendors. Your GPS tracker? It's great for routing, but also shows brokers exactly where you are and how long you've been there. And those free load boards? They're another way to gather your data, package it, and sell it back to the highest bidder. We're out here busting our asses, paying for tools we think are helping us while the brokers and tech companies rake in the profits. It's like we're working two jobs, one for ourselves and one for them. Except we only get paid for one. The part that angers me is that this isn't just about rates. It's about control. Every bit of data they collect is another chain around our ankles. We're giving up more of our independence every time we let them box us in. If we don't stop it now, it will only get worse. Connected vehicle systems, advanced telematics, and government mandates aren't just buzzwords. They're the next wave of control. And if we keep letting them take our data, they will own us outright. That night in Missouri, I sat in my cab, staring at the dashboard, and it finally hit me. This system wasn't built for me, it was built to control me. And the worst part? I was letting it happen. But here's the thing. I don't have to. And neither do you. We have a choice to make. We can keep rolling along, pretending this isn't happening, or stand up and take back what's ours. The choice starts with a straightforward realization. Your data is your power. If they own it, they own you. But if you own it, you call the shots. I know this feels big. Hell, it is significant. But change starts small. Here's where you can begin. Ask questions. Who owns the data from your truck? What rights do you have to it? Start digging into your contracts, ELDs, telematics, load boards. Please don't take their word for it. Get it in writing. Demand transparency. Push your technology providers for clear answers. If they can't tell you where your data is going or how it's being used, that's a problem. Invest in your future. Look for tools that give you control over your data. There are platforms designed to put truckers first. You have to find them. I don't have all the answers yet, but I know this. I'm done letting them take what's mine. I'm done paying to be screwed. And if you're feeling the same way, it's time to punch that dashboard, shake off the chains, and stand up. This is just the beginning. In the next part of this series, we'll dig into how to turn your data into your biggest weapon. Because it's not enough to take it back. We need to use it to fight for our future.